The only clause in his will was that if my dad passed away before my mom, she would continue to live in their house even though the ownership would go to my name. Of course I didn't mind this since I would want to take care of my mom until her last days. I don't know how but Caleb found out about all this, and since he can't reach my parents, he called me yesterday trying to mend things right between us. He told me how he had been having trouble keeping up with college and that after Karen had found out about the paternity of the child, she had been pestering him about child support. He told me that he had no money and was looking for part-time jobs yet could not find anything. He begged me to talk to our family so we could start fresh since he really needed my help. I started to laugh at his face and told him that I was so done with him and that he should have thought about all this before sleeping with my wife and getting her pregnant. Caleb started to argue that I was being unfair and that she was to blame also, to which I agreed and reminded him how I did divorce her and now she was his responsibility, so he should not be calling me complaining about her or her child since this was the consequences of his own actions. Kalen started to raise his voice, but I cut him off and reminded him that he was no longer the favored child in the family but the black sheep who slept with his own brother's wife. Caleb started to cry at this point and told me how everyone had been shitting on him, including our grandparents and relatives, which was true, but this was no longer my concern. I told him that we were done and to never call me again since I was no longer his brother. Since then, I have been replaying the conversation over and over in my head. Although I hate my brother, I had never heard him cry, at least not since we grew up. I won't lie, but it did hurt me a bit that he was this helpless. So I guess I am here to ask if I should talk to our parents about him, or would I be in a hole if I don't? Update 1. Hi everyone. A lot of you have been asking me as to why I am no longer in contact with my son Henry, and some of you have also called me cruel. Well, I am sorry to say this, but I don't feel comfortable raising another man's child. This is not a stepson scenario. In this case, I was led to believe that he was my son, and then I discovered that he was in fact my brother's son. Of course I am hurt and I have cried over it for days, but then the reason I don't want any contact with Henry is because I no longer want Karen in my life. If I talk to her child, she will find a way to snake her way into my life again, and I need my own space. You can call me cruel or selfish, but I can't see him ever again, or at least until a very long time.